Howdy, guys, and welcome to Big Brother 23, night number 22, and welcome to Cliff Notes from outside the Big Brother house. All right, just a real quick refresher on where we're at within the house. Eviction ceremony tonight. Brent and Brittany are on the block. It's really a foregone conclusion. Brent is going home. The two big questions we've got is one, is it going to be a unanimous vote? Yeah, I think it probably will be. And although Alyssa did promise Brent that no matter what happens, no matter what, he's got her vote. So maybe it won't be unanimous, but I still think it will be. Two questions. Will it be a unanimous vote? And will Brent be blindsided, or is he going to figure it out or understand that it's his time before the show tonight? I don't know. Well, that part, a little less certain. We'll find out throughout the day, and we'll certainly see this evening. Okay, let's talk about some of the conversations that took place Wednesday night, right before an eviction, where the votes are pretty much already decided. I wasn't expecting to see a whole lot of real in-depth conversation, and we didn't get a whole lot, but there's a few things that are worth mentioning, and there's certainly planning going on for the following week. So let's talk about those conversations. First of all, Brent and Brittany both did their campaigning yesterday. Brent was much briefer than Brittany was. Brittany went 5 or 6 hours worth of one-on-ones. It was a throughout the day type process. Brittany talked to everyone, and she talked to them a lot. So we do have one quick conversation with regards to that. Brittany talking to Azah in the yacht room, and she mentions that during her one-on-ones that she's learned, and that a lot of people have mentioned to her, the belief, the opinion that Alyssa is really the glue for a lot of different relationships that are existing in this house. And Brittany now believes that Alyssa is a huge threat for her game and for a lot of other people's games in the house. So she's seeing Alyssa on her radar. The other thing that Brittany is telling Azah is that she is 100% certain, no uncertainty whatsoever, that if Alyssa is gone, Christian will come over to the Team Jokers, that he's going to join up with them. Is Alyssa the glue for a lot of people? Yeah, I can see that part. Will Christian come over if Alyssa's booted out of the house? Not so sure that's the case, but that's what Brittany's reporting back to Azah. We've got another conversation going on in the bathroom. Hannah is talking to Kyland. She's telling Kyland that based on what she's heard, that she thinks everyone is gunning for HOH this week, since there's no clear target in the house. No one is certain how these things are going to turn out. So she thinks, and she's heard, that everyone's gunning for HOH. I'm not sure that's necessarily the case. I've heard a whole lot more conversations of everyone wanting to throw the competition, as long as it's to someone else that they trust. They don't want the HOH, but there's certainly people they don't want to have the HOH. So yeah, I'm not sure I'm buying completely Hannah's belief that everyone is gunning for HOH. I think it's just the opposite. But she's telling Kyland that. She's also telling Kyland that Whitney has been telling the Kings that she's going to throw the HOH to avoid getting blood on her hands, but that she's not really as certain about Whitney. She thinks Whitney may be just presenting a bit of a facade and a smokescreen to the Kings, and that she's really going to fight for it. But she's telling the Kings that, nah, last thing I want is to have blood on my hands this week, so y'all can have it. I have no desire to get this HOH. Kyland, on the other hand, he thinks that anyone that is not a king is going after a king this week. And that's the theme of this evening. It's really been a theme for the last week. Everyone's recognizing the Kings perhaps are the dominant team. Now, remember, we only have teams lasting for one more week, but everyone's thinking the teams are the dominant group. They're a tight group. Everyone's wanting to go after the king. So Kyland's saying, yeah, if you're not a king, then you're wanting to go after a king. And on the other side, he thinks that the Kings are going to be going after Whitney this week if they get the opportunity, if one of their people wins the HOH. He does also mention that Christian and Xavier, neither one wants a guy on the block. So if you have the Kings going after Whitney, it's because they want to go after a woman at this point in time. And so that's where we're at with that. Conversation with Brittany and Derek and Azah in the yacht room. Again, Brittany is rehashing all the one-on-ones, everything that she learned during her campaigns. She is saying that everyone on the Aces and the Queens are going to throw the HOH to the Jokers if the chance comes up. She says, look, they're gonna fight hard, they're gonna compete, as long as there's still a king team member that's in the HOH competition. But as soon as all the kings have been eliminated, the queens and the aces, they're both going to throw it to us, guys. It's ours to take this week. We're finally going to get an HOH that we can control. And then Brittany says, and here's the other thing, I don't want it because I've been in the thick of things. I've been on the block. There's too many reasons that I may have to, or people would expect me to put up one person and things like that. I don't want the HOH because I've been too involved in the game so far. So if they do throw it to us, I'm going to turn around and throw it to you. And she's talking to Derek F. and Azza. And neither one of them say, I don't want it either. I think they will take it. And that would be interesting. Where's Derek F. going? Where's Azza going to go if they get the HOH in terms of who they're going to target? Now, the game plan, the strategy seems like everyone's certainly going to be encouraging them to go after the kings. And they very well may, but there'll be a little uncertainty with an HOH if one of the jokers gets it. Conversation between Tiffany and Hannah, and we had some concerns with this, a little bit of this conversation last night. Tiffany and Hannah are talking. Tiffany is saying, look, Hannah, the kings cannot win. Again, pick up the thing. Everyone wants the kings out to get weakened a little bit. Tiffany's saying the kings can't win. And within that group, Sarah Beth is dangerous because she is unpredictable. She is headstrong. She's gonna be tough and she's very scary. She also is saying that also in addition to Sarah Beth, if Alyssa goes home, that Christian will get over it. I actually heard but I think Brittany's the one that said that when she talked to Christian, he actually told her that if Alyssa went home, he'd be okay with it. He doesn't know that that's necessarily a bad thing. I don't know that Christian really believes that versus what he's telling Brittany, but that's what Brittany reported back. Now Tiffany is saying that if Alyssa goes home, Christian, he'll get over it. He'll be all right. The part that's a little not controversial, but part that raised some discussions last night. Tiffany did tell Hannah about the Cookout Alliance. Now she never used the word cookout. She kept that word out of her mouth, but she basically laid out the entire plan to Hannah about, there's 6 of us. We each have a side person. So if we go on a block with that person, they go home and we're safe. We protect each other. So we've got the core group, but everyone has a kind of hang along partner as well, just to help with votings and everything else. So she says that. Now she recommends to Hannah also, she says, you're part of the cookout, not the cookout. She didn't use the word. You're part of this group as well. You need a side person, and I think it ought to be Derek X. Bring Derek X into the fold, and that would be fantastic. And Hannah does just that. She goes then to Derek X a little bit later in the evening, says, look, everyone's got a person. I want a person, and Derek X, you're that person. And Derek X didn't say no. He wants to work with Hannah, and so she had that conversation. She went back to Tiffany and told her said, talk to Derek X. And so he'll be my person as well. So we've got that. So again, now Hannah knows kind of the whole game plan of the Cookout Alliance of how this thing is going to operate. I think the plan that Tiffany has, that the Cookout has, is a good plan. It's worked before. Look, we've had alliances with side people before, quite a few of them. And it's a good plan. But so many people, including now Hannah, know this plan, and there is no secret that remains a secret forever in the HOH house. And with so many people knowing about this plan, all it takes is one person to slip up, to say something, or to feel like they're a little bit burned or they're left out, and suddenly they spill the secret to someone outside the alliance. And then the whole thing is blown, and now you've got all these side people that know that maybe they aren't the most important. It could blow up in the Cookout's face if they aren't careful with them. It's okay to say you got the alliance, but when you spell it out so much like Tiffany did, you're just playing with fire. We'll see if it comes back to bite her or not, but Hannah now is aware of the alliance itself. And she now knows the name, because even though Tiffany didn't give her the name, Azza did. Yeah, Azza kind of screwed up. She was talking about the group and she said Cookout to Hannah. So Hannah now knows the name itself. Azza went back and told Derek F that I kind of screwed up. I mentioned the name. So Hannah now knows that we are the Cookout. I personally don't know if that it's that big a deal. I would be much more worried about the fact that Hannah knows all the inner workings and the entire to the end of the game plan and everything else. That's what I'd be worried about, much less than whether she knows the name of the alliance or not. Whatever. Although I've been an advocate that the best alliance is the one that never has a name attached to it, because it becomes that much tougher to spill the beans to other people about. But that's a whole different discussion. But yeah, as Ozza is worried that she spilled the name to Hannah, and so Hannah knows all about it at this point in time. We do have non-strategy talk. There was a house meeting. I guess it was held maybe yesterday or the day before. Derek F had complained about the house not being in the cleanest of shape. They had a house meeting, decided that rather than just the dishes, they were going to take care of the entire house. So there was a lot of time spent yesterday with all of the house guests cleaning dishes, changing all the sheets on the beds, cleaning mirrors, cleaning out the fridge, everything you could possibly imagine was going on. So they did a whole lot of cleaning, and just about the time they got done, Big Brother comes over the loudspeakers and says, "House guests, clean the house." And so they all laughed about that. We never got called out to clean our own house. I guess we kept up with it at least enough to keep Big Brother happy. All right, so what else is going on? Oh, they had the big blue couch. It didn't last long, but they had their little show a little bit. People are trying to relax a little as part of the house guests as well. And Have Nots ended last night, so Derek once again cooked up a bit of a meal around at midnight when Have Nots ended. We could hear everyone yelling. Brittany was singing a Have Not theme song of some sort. We didn't actually get to see them enjoying their into Have Not feast, but Have Nots are over, so everyone gets to eat a little bit in preparation for tonight's HOH competition. Now we had a couple little things. Brent, it's going to be tough to say goodbye to Brent. Love him or hate him, he's good with the one-liners and such. And one of the things that happened yesterday is Brent at one point asked Brittany, of all people. You could ask a lot of people, but he asked Brittany, said, "Hey, once the eviction is over, how long will it take before production gives me my suitcase back?" It's kind of a slam, isn't it, to ask the person you're on the block with, saying, "Hey, after you go home, when are they going to give me my suitcase back?" But Brent did ask the question, and Brittany told quite a few people afterwards about it, that she kind of was getting slammed a little bit with him even asking that question. Another conversation, Brent is talking to Alyssa. And now this is a little concerning as well. Brent's talking to Alyssa and saying, "Look, Christian slipped up earlier. Christian was talking to me and said, these girls are going to think we're so dumb when we send three guys home straight. We send three guys home one after the other. They're going to think we're so dumb." Well, they've only sent two guys home so far. The third guy who's going home is Brent. So Christian is absolutely screwed up. Brent realizes that, and I guess Christian maybe tried to play it off as a little bit of a joke, but Brent's not buying it. And so he's heard that. He's also apparently gotten a heads up from Derek F, who told him, said, "Hey, the votes aren't going to be there for you, Brent. It's just not going to happen." So he should know. He should have the heads up that he's going home this evening. But then he turns around and tells Alyssa that he has the votes. So is it going to be a blindside tonight? I don't know. He's got all the indications it shouldn't be, but he is so certain that he's going to pull it out at the end. I think it also comes down to the fact that he's already acknowledged that he thinks he knows that he is a primary target, but he just thinks that he has a better read on the house and everyone else is going to be surprised. So even if he hears Christian say, "Oh yeah, three guys are going home," he may be thinking that, yeah, that's what Christian thinks, but I'm going to show him, because it's not going to be the case. So yeah, I don't know. Brent just doesn't quite pick up on it just yet that his time in the house ends this evening. Hey, the eternal optimist. To the very end, as you're walking up to the gallows, keep the smile on your face and hope for the best. All right, so final conversation, Claire talking to the cameras. And I got to say, as a person who's talked to the cameras myself, I like when Claire talks to the cameras, because when she's talking to another house guest, you don't know if she's saying what she thinks they want to hear or what she truly believes. But when she's talking to the camera, I kind of assume that we're hearing straight from her soul what's going on in her mind. And so she's talking to the cameras, just kind of the key points. She's thinking that next week's nominations, I guess tomorrow's nominations, are going to be either Christian and Alyssa on the block or Hannah and Whitney. And it all depends on who wins the HOH. If someone in the Kings wins the HOH, you're probably looking at Hannah and Whitney. If anyone else in the house wins HOH, then it very well could be Christian and Alyssa. And from what I'm hearing tonight, it sounds like Alyssa would certainly be the top target if it came down to that particular duo. Claire herself, she wants Christian and Xavier on the block, and she'd just soon see Xavier leave. So she's going to go along with the house, but she's got her own targets in mind too. Two of the stronger guys, certainly. Claire also is very worried at how Tiffany and Kylan are playing the game, how strong they are playing the game. She said before, and she said it tonight, that she just does not want to be in a final two with Tiffany. She doesn't think that she would stand a chance, and she's probably right. But she's also looking at Kylan as someone who has a lot of relationships, a lot of strategy. In fact, I think it's Kylan that she's talking about at one point where she says, I think this season's Dan or Derek is Kylan. So those two are definitely on Claire's radar, and we'll see what happens if Claire gains power. It's probably not going to be this week, but somewhere down the road. And then also she mentions that she doesn't want Whitney to go. Whitney's been a target for a lot of people, but she feels like Whitney could help her game. So she's not ready to send Whitney home just yet. And of all the people in the house, Claire is saying that she trusts Derek X more than anyone else in the house. So that's kind of interesting. I can't say I'm completely surprised, but maybe that's not the name I would have expected her to say either. But obviously she trusts Derek X more, as she says, more than anyone else in the house. So there you go, guys. Again, I think the biggest points is the fact that Brent's gotten a few heads up that he's going home, and he's still not apparently believing it. And then the other part, that Hannah, who's always been the associate member in the Cookout, has now been explained what the Cookout is. The name's been told to her, and we will see if she joins in and how that affects the game going forward. Guys, y'all have a fantastic week. Now, one final thing just to point out, next Friday, August the 6th, up in Arlington, Texas, the Big Brother US versus Canada boxing exhibition is taking place. I'm going to be there. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think we've got 9 different boxing matches that are taking place. If anyone else up in the North Texas area wants to go to the match, come check out my Instagram profile, cliff.hog. I'm giving away 2 free tickets. So check it out, and I'd love to see you there. Guys, y'all have a great Thursday. I will talk to y'all tomorrow. HOH is tonight. Brent's going home, but the big question is going to be that HOH. Who wins it? We will talk about that tomorrow morning. Y'all have a great one, guys. SKD 143. Cheers, my friends. Bye.